All right, please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll bring a mic to you. Start with Rich up here.
Hi, Manny. Could you describe what you're looking for from Kalen King this year? What can he do to improve on his performance last season?
Well, Rich, with Kalen, it's sort of with all of our players. I mean, really what we're looking for is that you don't get to carry over what you did a year ago into this season. And the first thing when you're talking about anything with defensive back play, you're talking about a sense of urgency and playing with that chip on your shoulder, which I really thought he did a great job of a year ago when he was really the unknown, because everybody was talking about Joey. Everyone knows who number 4 is right now, but you cannot lose that edge that you had about you that really made you great the year before. So I think those are the big things. I think if he brings that every day here in the month of August, we've got he should have all the confidence in what he's demonstrated in games, and we have all the confidence in him. But as we tell Kalen and the entire defense, that resets and that restarts every offseason.
Up front, John.
Hey, Manny. How does having Kalen in the back end and Chop in the front 4 kind of change how you can shape your defense and what you can do as a play caller?
Well, John, if we just had Kalen and Chop, it would be we would be limited. Because that would be not to speak of the abilities of Johnny Dixon, the ability of our safeties and linebackers to be able to play man coverage. And again, in my experience, if you have one gifted pass rusher, there's nothing more fatiguing in the game of football than to rush the passer down after down after down. I think what makes Chop great is Adisa Isaac. I think what makes Adisa great is Deny. I think what makes those guys great is Amin. And I think the fact that Zariah Fisher. I think the fact that the best defenses I've been a part of in terms of getting after the quarterback, including us a year ago, is because we had multiple waves of guys that could be relentless and not have to pace themselves to try to last the 60 minutes. They could go as hard as they could go, and they knew the guy coming in behind them, and that's hard on offensive linemen. And so we're blessed to have lots of guys who can create havoc and lots of guys who can cover.
Daniel.
Manny, Chop's been able to have a full off-season in the strength and conditioning program here and a full off-season as a defensive end. What strides have you seen from him physically this off-season and then within the structure of the defense?
Well, we have a great strength and conditioning program. When we come back and see the team in August, I mean, what Chuck and his guys have done with those guys is phenomenal. Our guys are in great shape. They're super strong. I think with Chop, and you even saw it as the year went on last season, was just the familiarity in the scheme. Like you mentioned, he was at DN full-time, had a little bit less to think about, but at the same time, you have to focus in on the details and the nuances of the position. You can definitely see that he's much more comfortable with that. And as any player develops, as you get more and more comfortable, you can play faster. And thinking about a guy like Chop playing faster is a scary sight. And that to me is what we have to have starting from the 1st of September this year. We don't want to get into that. We don't want to be we want to play our best late in the season, but we've got to be playing at a championship level to beat West Virginia.
Up front, Todd. Right
Hi,
here.
Coach. Right here. It's a big deal, obviously, for players to have the same coordinator the next year, whether they're learning the language. Also, for coordinators to work with the same coordinators, I would imagine. So you working with Coach Yursich, what are you able to do? How's that relationship kind of blossomed in working together, especially when he has young quarterbacks? Does he ask you to do something defensively to give them a look? Or how's that relationship kind of gotten better and able to work together to help the players grow?
Well, I think, look, at the end of the day, we both have the same goal in terms of the category that we want to lead the nation in. And we want to lead the nation that wins, right? That's I was early in my career, I was as fortunate enough to be a part of a staff at NC State. We were number 1 in the nation in total defense, and we finished 5 and 6 that year. There's no ring for that. We didn't have a parade. Nobody noticed. No one remembers that. That's why I keep telling that story. So, but I sure remember winning. When you win nice things, you win Rose Bowls. There's a lot of ways to remember that type of stuff. So as we, whether it's the way we practice, whether it's the way we attack a game, you hear Coach Franklin talk about it all the time, playing great complementary football. Those aren't just words. There's something that goes into that. And that's what I think right now in August, we're learning who we are. We're sort of in our independent silos, trying to get our guys as good as they can be. And I think what all good coaches and all good staffs do is when you come out of training camp, you get a real assessment of where are we strong, where are we still maybe growing and developing as a football team, and how do we play to our strengths and how do we maximize or how do we minimize our weaknesses? Because every team in the country, no matter what